What is going on, guys? Sazak here, coming at you back with another video. And for about the past 3 weeks, I've been using Android 10 on my Samsung Galaxy S9 with One UI 2. And it makes a pretty good combination, I think. It's overall been a pretty substantial update. And it's definitely made me think this is way better. And this is honestly, I think, what Android 9 should have been. So, let's explore these new changes and see what's up. So I am also going to have a speed test video out on One UI 2 versus One UI 1 coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. But let's dive into One UI 2 and check it out. So starting on the lock screen, there are definitely some changes. One of my favorite changes overall is the animation to the always on display. So you have your notifications here, but then once you actually power the phone out, it'll actually show a it'll actually animate the notification to kind of shut itself, which I think looks really cool. So if you see here, I don't know if it goes right away, and then it'll do that, which I think looks really cool. The facial recognition, it's better on Android 10, but it's still not very good on the Galaxy S9. Like, if you were to make a list of the top 3 facial recognition systems, well, on the top, put Apple's Face ID on top, no doubt. And then maybe behind that, maybe put OnePlus because of their speed. And then behind that, maybe Pixel 4, you know, because it's incredibly fast. But anyways, moving on to the home screen. It's pretty familiar, it's not like a huge change, but you finally have actual real gesture navigation. None of that bullshit gesture navigation from Android 9. The gesture navigation on Samsung devices was different from other manufacturers, especially the Pixel and LG and Motorola. They had kind of different gesture navigation, where the gesture navigation on those phones, what it did is you had a tiny little pill-shaped thing in place of your home button. So you would do the normal click to go home like your typical Android navigation buttons, but instead of hitting the multitasking button to go to your actual app switcher, you would swipe up to get to it. But you had to make sure not to swipe up too far, because if you swiped up too far, you're automatically taken to the app drawer, and the back button would appear when the function was available, which is just really dumb. If you swiped all the way up, it would take you right to the app drawer. What? I swear, every time I got my hands on a phone with that gesture navigation system, which more often than not was the Pixel, I would always say to myself, Google, what the f are you thinking? This gesture navigation system was absolutely half-assed. It also made the iPhone gesture navigation system look even better. Samsung devices did the gesture navigation system a little bit different, but it still sucked. With Samsung devices, you had 3 bars in place of your typical navigation buttons. I'll actually screen record it here. So if we jump into settings here, you can see that we go to the display, because though that old gesture navigation system is still an option in Android 10. If you go to navigation bar here, you can see the full screen gestures, you get more options. So you have the swipe from bottom. So what you would do, if I turn on my hints here, if I can, oh wait, still getting used to that. So if I turn on the hints here, you'll see there's 3 bars at the bottom. So the left bar for me would be the back button. So you swipe up to get to that. And then you have the middle bar, which is the home button, which you would go back. And then on the right is your app switcher. So you'd swipe up to get to that. It's still really dumb. I mean, come on. So this gesture navigation system is way better. So it's a lot like the iPhone's gesture navigation, which I've said is the best gesture navigation system on the market. So you have a typical swipe up to go home, which is pretty typical, and then you have a swipe and hold to get to your multitasking or your app switcher, and then you have a swipe from either the from either the left side or right side. Now, on Samsung devices, what I recommend doing is whatever side your edge screen is on, swipe from the opposite side, because then you'll have a lot of accidental edge screen triggers. Just saying. So do that. And you also swipe from the bottom left or right corner to access Google Assistant. I think that's a lot better of a system. So now we're going to talk about some system changes and some system app changes. So probably the biggest change out of the system apps is the camera app. So you have a basically brand new interface. So what it feels like to me is sort of an iPhone Pixel hybrid. So it feels like it has that sort of iPhone-like interface, but you have a lot of Pixel options. So you have that whole more tab where you can swipe over. You actually do have access to a night mode, so that will work. Although how well it works, I am skeptical. And then you also have your Pro mode, you have your live focus, which only works with the front-facing camera on the standard Galaxy S9, which I have here. You also have panorama, the food mode, which is using a lot of AR. You have a wider selfie, slow motion, super slow-mo, your sports action, selective focus, blah, blah, blah. And then you have like all your video modes. And honestly, I just think this works. I just think this is a nice change to the camera app. I think it looks really good. And overall, yeah, I like this camera app. So a lot of other system apps look pretty much the same. The Messages app is identical. The Calculator app is identical. The Calendar app is identical. Clock, Contacts, identical. The Edge Lighting Plus app actually gets a bunch of new effects. So if you have a S9, S9 Plus, Note 9, Note 10, S10, etc., you go in to the Edge Lighting Plus app, which you do need to download from the Galaxy App Store. But once you do that, you have access to a bunch of effects, which I recommend. So you have some new stuff such as the Wave, which I actually use all the time. I think it looks dope. And you also have the Bubble effect. I think that looks pretty cool. You also have the Eclipse, which again I think looks pretty cool. And you also have Echo, kind of subtle, but works. You also have Spotlight. You also have Heart. And Fireworks are the new ones. But you can also see all these others. I'm not going to go through them all, but those are the new ones. You also have the Email app, which looks identical. The Galaxy Store, which looks identical. But the Galaxy Themes app, this is going to sound weird, but it got the dummy treatment. Let me tell you what I mean. So previously, when you go into the Galaxy App Store, or not the Galaxy App Store, the Galaxy Theme Store. So previously, when you go into the Galaxy Theme Store, you jump in, and your downloaded themes would be up here at the top. No longer is that the case. You have to go over to the side page, and then you go to the My Stuff tab. Why add the extra step, Samsung? Really? Come on. So, other system apps, the Galaxy Wearable app looks the same. Trust me, I know. The gallery looks about the same, besides the option to now create a movie story up at the top. The game launcher actually does have a pretty different interface. So jump into the game launcher here and you'll see you have your whole tray of pretty much all your games right down at the bottom, which I like. I think that actually works pretty well. And you can kind of swipe through your game and see your recently played stuff. I think that looks pretty cool. And overall, yeah, I like this new game launcher update. You also have the button up at the top to automatically stream to Discord, which I think is actually a pretty cool function. So yeah, the game launcher definitely is pretty nice overall. Good luck. Looks like good luck. Samsung Internet, if you jump in there, it now has a list view for all your tabs. So you see that you have this is a little bit more of a compact view. So it's just, it looks a little bit more clean and you can kind of see more tabs at once. But when you change the card view here, it just looks pretty much like it always does. The My Files app looks about the same, except you now have a new storage analysis look. So it has this sort of bar, which is also shared with the mode to set your phone into power saving mode, and also I believe for the device care storage check. Yeah, it's for the device care storage check. The phone app overall looks the same, although I don't believe the Places feature was available in Android 9. I know it was available in Android 8, but that was 2017, so yeah, there's definitely a difference. Samsung Health looks identical, Samsung Notes looks the same, Samsung Pay and Samsung Pass look about the same. The secure folder, which I'm not going to show you guys my secure folder, but that shows you, that now uses the actual Samsung keyboard for you to type in your password to get in instead of the screen when you're actually entering your passcode to actually unlock your phone. So there's a slight visible difference there. The settings app looks like the settings app, although there are some new options. You have some new options, so your display settings are kind of split a little bit more. So you have obviously your display settings, your wallpaper, your themes, which wallpaper and themes used to be one single tab, and you also have your lock screen options, which also used to be in, I believe, another tab. And then you also have your biometric stuff, which is pretty normal. You also have the digital well-being, which is a new feature. So this is basically to help you get your ass off the phone. So it's really gonna help you kind of wind down, get off your phone, and kind of, stay in the moment. It's telling me to stay in the moment right now. But that's a bit of a difference right there. You also have new software update tabs and stuff like that. And now these digital well-being settings aren't quite as advanced as something like the OnePlus's Zen mode, which basically almost completely disables every function on your phone, except for, I believe, phone calls and the camera. That's it. That's all you can do when you're in Zen mode, and you can't quit Zen mode when you're in it. This isn't quite as that. You can option what apps you want to have disabled and what you want to have enabled while you're in focus mode. But yeah, I think this is actually a pretty welcome change. SmartThings looks like it always has before. Sound Assistant looks like it always has. The voice recorder looks the same. So that's up for the system apps. And then you have a new dark mode, which I absolutely love. It is so much better. So light mode, it looks like light mode, but when you actually switch over to dark mode here, it's a lot more persistent throughout the UI. And I always suggest leave dark mode enabled because it just looks better, and I just think that actually adds to how it looks. So you can actually use dark mode while a theme is applied, which previously with the night mode in Android 9 you couldn't. And then you also have a built-in screen recorder, which, as you saw, I've been screen recording a lot of this video finally, and you have a lot more smaller changes, but that'll be a lot to go through in this video. I don't want to make this super long, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. So that is gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below what your favorite feature of Android 10 might be, and make sure you guys smash that like button, hit that subscribe button down below, and follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. Maybe TikTok. Actually, don't follow me on TikTok because it's just dumb. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.